YouTube, what is good? We've got Madden 23 program promo tier list. We're winding down to the end of the year, and I kind of want to take a look back and rank really my programs or the Madden 23 programs throughout the year based on my opinion. You can now, of course, in the comments below what you guys do think, but, I don't got much other content to upload. I think this will be a really fun video, and I'll pan to some, memorable cards from each program. So we're going to go chronological order, starting out with Ultimate Kickoff. Or actually, no, it's Ultimate Kickoff. Headliners, sorry, Headliners. This was Superstar KO in previous Maddens. Honestly, Headliners, I loved as a promo. The four main champions being L'Jarius Sneed, Joe Mixon, Javon Hall, and Justin Jefferson. I used three of those. I just didn't use Joe Mixon. Very affordable cards. The Heroes, the 86 cards. We also had Donald Parham, one of the best players in early MUT. And the champions were very affordable. You got a bunch of 86 as BNDs. Overall, I think it was a really, really solid program to start out the year. You can't really go wrong with the first promo of the year. I'm actually going to throw it in A tier. I had a blast. I didn't really open re-rolls at the time, early on in the year. Didn't really have training, but just the players as a whole, like in that phase, in that era, even the 82 overall guys, like the Caleb Farley that we got for our starter packs was a very valuable asset for my no money spent. So I'm going to throw that up in A tier. I know it's pretty high, but, and by the way, here are the tiers S, A, B, C, D, and F. We skipped E, but we had to go down to F. Next up, we have got Campus Heroes, and I think this might have been Campus Hero 2. No, it's Campus Hero 1. So we got Campus Hero 1, and again, we started out with promos, I thought, very, very well. Campus Hero 1, I thought, what did well with it was the fact that each team got an 87 overall hero. In previous years, we'd only gotten like 10 to 15 heroes for Campus Hero 1s, an 87 overall for each team. Two champions being Derek Johnson and Crabtree. Crabtree was really good, Derek Johnson not so much, and then Ricky Williams wasn't that good, but the rerolls I actually was able to open a little bit in the beginning of the year, and I did pull Ricky Williams. The rerolls were not bad at all, and it just gave an option. I built my team for the first month of the game through 87 overall BNDs. I know Grant Delpit, Naheem Hines, a lot of really good. You get an 87 overall offensive lineman at every single position for a very, very affordable price. I love the Campus Hero 1 program. I'm actually going to throw it in S tier for just the overall impact on the entirety of Madden 23 to launch. Again, it dropped 2 or 3 weeks into the game, and again, I built my team on the 87 overall Campus Hero 1 BNDs. But now we got Ultimate Kickoff, and this is where things start to go downhill. I don't know if it was because we just had gone a bunch of 87 overalls, but Ultimate Kickoff, I felt like was just a less hype version of Campus Hero 1. Campus Hero 1 had legends and current players as those 87 heroes. Ultimate Kickoff had a bunch of heroes, and like the heroes weren't even statted as good. The champions was a two-part program. The champions were Troy Polamalu and Fitz. Fitz was good. Troy Polamalu, meh. Christian McCaffrey was okay, and Von Miller, like, they weren't amazing. The LTDs, Chandler Jones and Brandon Scherf, nothing to get too excited about. And the rerolls were really, really bad. This was the first promo where we all as a community really prepped and bought training in advance for this promo, and the rerolls were shockingly awful. So I'm going to throw this promo down in D tier, guys. I'm going to be very critical of these promos because it was just a forgettable promo. I didn't even pick up any of the champions. I just took the promo off. I'm like, why waste the coins on these overpriced players? They're not even better than the Campus Hero 1 players. Now on to Legend. Now I'm just going to throw it in where it belongs. It belongs in F. Catastrophically bad. Now, the Legend players this year were not bad. I feel like this is the best Legend pool we've gotten in many years in Madden. The problem with the Legend program was the affordability, especially in the beginning of Madden. For some reason, you had the power of the player to get like the ability that made the card good. You were, if you wanted to, throughout the entire year, if you wanted a new Legend and it was like semi-good, you were spending over 1 to 1.2 million coins on the card day 1 or day 2. And the worst thing about it was that card then, like by the next week, would lose half its value. I thought the Legend, again, the players were fine. The players' stats were fine. I hated how they made it to where you had to power up the card to get the 0 AP or discounted ability at the end. And the sets also, in comparison to Madden 22, where you just needed like, it was just a lot, the sets were just so much cheaper in Madden 22. Madden 23, you're out here spending 1.5 million if there's a new quarterback. Hated the Legend program. I really hope they completely redesign it in Madden 24 because it's one of the longest standing programs, promos in Madden, in MUT. And it was maybe the worst promo this year, just on a standard weekly release. I was saying it's a weekly release and it was that bad. Next up, we've got All Madden, or John Madden, All Madden promo. Now, this actually took the place of the first Legend weekend, and it was actually pretty fun. We got like 1089 overalls. They were actually affordable, like 400k. The rerolls were not bad at all. They were bad, but you didn't lose a lot of them, so they weren't bad in that case. But the only complaint you could say about the All Madden promo throughout the year was that, like, when we got All Madden 3, it was like a lot of repeats of like legends that we got early on. But I mean, I'm never going to complain about a dupe Steve Atwater, a dupe Calvin Johnson, a dupe Barry Sanders, or Barry Sanders. Who was the other player? Darrelle Revis, Rod Woodson. Like, I'm not going to complain about that. I'm going to have All Madden in the... I'm going to put it in A tier, because when the cards did drop, like, you would get 8 to 10 players in 3 different drops, and those 8 to 10 players were the best at their position for the most part. They weren't completely, like, too expensive. They were semi-affordable. For the best cards in the game, they were affordable, and they held their price a lot. The rerolls, like, throughout the different releases wasn't a terrible reroll by any means, so I'm throwing it in A tier. Good legends. The cards were amazing. The rerolls and packs weren't god-awful. And, yeah, it was a 3-part promo throughout the year. I loved it. Now, Team of the Week. This one is probably more based on opinion. There were some weeks that were really, really good. Other weeks that were really, really bad. It was kind of pick and choose. I love the legend pool from Team of the Week. It went with a lot more current players in the mid-2000s when I grew up. Players like Brandon Marshall, Jay Cutler, Antonio. Like, I love those legend choices. The only thing that probably doesn't have Team of the Week promo maybe at A is I'm actually going to throw it down to C, and the reason be, you guys, I've already talked about it, the affordability of it. The Team of the Week cards were super, super expensive. If they were good and there was a TVP out at the time, they were going for 800 to 900k, and they didn't even go down in price over time. They stayed expensive because they're set pieces. Well, it's how we made part of our coins this year. Their set pieces would rise in price after the first day. So the only reason why the Team of the Week promo is down at C is just the affordability. Like, the LTDs were the cheapest cards, but they were the worst cards, and the cool legends were, 800 to 900k during the bulk of the Team of the Week release. But enjoy the legends, the solo. You know what? I'm gonna raise it up to B just because the solo challenges were good. You got a free Team of the Year player, a bunch of free Team of the Week. I'm raising it up to B, but if these cards were like 400, 500k, it'd be an A tier, but they were just too expensive for the common MUT player. Next up, we got AKA the first drop. This is gonna be a long video. AKA first drop. Controversial. Now, AKA new class is more controversial. AKA current class, or the first class, was more legend based, had some of the best card arts of all time. I'm throwing this one simply in A tier. It belongs in A tier. The cards were some of the best cards we got throughout the year, Calvin Johnson being one of them. A lot of offensive linemen. I know Howie Long ruined the entire MCS event with he activated every player on the defense's X Factor. It's going in A tier. I think it would probably be a lot more hyped and a lot more memorable if it was like released on Thursday or Friday. Getting released on a Monday, like, not a lot of people play MUT Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so, by the end of the week, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday content normally overshadowed the Monday content that we got early on in the week. But it goes in A tier. No rerolls. That was like the only like weird thing about the promo, is no rerolls for the first part. But legends, the legends names were better than the actual legends, like Walter Payton, Darrelle Revis, Calvin Johnson, Terrell Suggs. Love the AKA first drop. Now we got Gridiron Guardians. Now, I don't want to blame Gridiron Guardians, but this was the start of the TVP. And if you know that, you'll know that Gridiron Guardians were very, very expensive. Eric Dickerson, Charles Woodson, Herbert, Jeffrey Simmons, I think were some of the cards, Nick Bosa. They went for like 700, 800k. They weren't anything better. Eric Dickerson had a bugged out jersey that, flashed light for a good 2 weeks before they fixed that. Very forgettable promo. Charles Woodson, Herbert, Herbert was decent, but he had a really bad release. I'm not trying to cuss as much. Not a great release overall, and they had like this 88 like hero BND thing that it just didn't really work for me. It's going in C. Just the champions, I'd say, are better than Ultimate Kickoff. It just was a very forgettable promo. That's what I'm trying to say. Team Diamonds 1. Now this one's weird because from a market person and a market perspective, Team Diamonds is one of the most important and the best promos we get every year because of the market impacts, where it gives value to gold cards, low elite cards, and gives value to pack trash. So I'm throwing it in B tier. The reason why it's not in A tier, though, because it wouldn't take a lot to get an A tier. First off, John Elway, it was super expensive. I mean, John Elway went for 7 mil. He was 5 mil and then eventually 3 mil, but he was 5 mil to 7 mil for like the first month he was out. Now, he was the best quarterback in the game, not even close, but the other cards in the promo, while very good and very cool, great names. D'Angelo Hall. I'm blanking on a few other names, but great names for the program. They were just expensive, right? They were going for 600 to 700k, and also a lot of people got banned for like completing the set, so that's why it's not an A tier. But overall, the market impacts were really, really positive. Gained a lot of value on like older cards, which I always am a fan of. So it's going in B tier, but not one. Team Diamonds usually is an A or S tier promo. A little bit underwhelming this year for Team Diamonds. My personal favorite program that I look forward to every year just because of the market impacts and the players. Now we got Most Feared. Most Feared was a weird promo because it was very affordable. TVPs were not in the game at the time. We were getting like 4 champions per week. The rerolls were bad, but they were cheap. The problem with Most Feared is I think Madden 22, Most Feared, and that's the most recent one, of course, was so good. Like, it was A or S tier. Most Feared wasn't bad. Like, we got Ramsey, Devontae Adams, Pitts. It just wasn't... It wasn't Madden 22 Most Feared, where, like, the rerolls were really good. And that's what hurts a lot of promos this year and why we kind of get bored of them fast is the cards come out, and it's like we buy the cards, and like that's all we do. That's all we get. There really isn't much else to do. The solos, like, you don't go crazy things from the solos. The rerolls aren't any special. The coin packs weren't anything good at the time. Again, for Most Feared is usually one of the best promos every single year. It didn't live up to, in my opinion, the hype. It's still B tier. It's still a solid promo, but it's not an A tier for me this year. Next up, and I think this logo is going to be Thanksgiving, or I don't know, what do they call it? Harvest promo. There wasn't really a logo. I'm guessing this is Harvest. Harvest for me is actually, now we can kind of rank, I just feel like these in the same tier. They're not really ranked in order. I would put this in B tier because it doesn't reach A tier, but I think Harvest was better than Most Feared just because of the promo champions. Like, Aaron Rodgers was the John Elway killer, best quarterback in the game, most affordable quarterback in the game, like with the God stack at the time. We also got cards like Darren Waller. The Tariq Woolen LTD was an amazing card. Zach Martin LTD was even good. And the rerolls for the Harvest promo were really, really good as well. They also had a few good 90 overall BNDs, while Most Feared was like a little bit underwhelming. The 90 overalls were actually not bad for the Harvest promo, so it's B tier, but it's better in my opinion. I preferred Harvest to Most Feared. Next up, we got Blitz. Now, Blitz, the reason why Blitz, in my opinion, is good is like if you spend money or you work the market. From a market perspective, it was one of the most enjoyable experiences of the year. It would be like A tier, S tier experience, like flipping cards, making coins over like a 3 to 4 day period. But the cards were not that good. And the LTDs, which were good, Jalen Waddle was a very, very good card at the time of release, was going for 1.5 mil. I'm going to throw this in D tier. It just was like the cards, like Michael Vick wasn't that... Well, Michael Vick actually was good. They fixed his release like a week or two after he came out. Blitz to me is always overhyped from a content perspective. It's just fun because of the market. I'm throwing it in D tier. Like, if you don't spend money or you don't work the market, it's nothing too special. We got 2 94 overall cards, 2 94 overall LTDs that were 1.5 mil, and Anthony Barr and Waddle, and like 93s and 92s, which were budget beasts, but like they're, you know, they're nothing crazy. Now I will say the cards like, and also the Vic, oh, Dick Lane also came out. I think we're also missing another fourth, Montez Sweat maybe. They were also very, very expensive. They were going for like 800 or 900k. Like, the cards were just expensive as a whole, the champions and the LTDs. So, to me, it just didn't really do it. I preferred like the Harvest guys, even though they were 93 overall over the 94 overall champion Blitz players. Now, we're just counting this as Team Affinity kind of as a whole throughout the year. What I did like this year compared to last year was the like unsung heroes and the like higher overall like masters, you could say, the Team Affinity content. I'm just gonna throw it in B. Nothing too, you know, like the Darius Slay was really, really cool, but you know, team builders are always like super underwhelming. But what I did like about them was like the unsung heroes to start the year were really, really cool cards, like the conference champions to get all the team camps. It's going to B tier because got a lot of players with multi-cams that helped out teams. So yeah, it's going to B tier. Next up, we've got Zero Chill. Now, for Madden 23, it's going to go in A tier. I was a big complainer, though, of Zero Chill for the first part of it. Until Presence came out, it was pretty dead. Like, we had Stocking Stuffers, which in Madden 22 was a standalone promo where every player got a card. Stocking Stuffers in this year's game were just heroes. So, like, they took a... It was just... And Stocking Stuffers were really cool, and they had their own champions in Madden 22. In my opinion, Zero Chill from a Zero Chill champion LTD content perspective was worse than Madden 22. But what made Zero Chill was the presence. I mean, the reroll was the best reroll throughout the entire year in terms of value. I made like 8 to 10 million coins just from the return of presence. TVPs were also out at the time, and it worked out. The coin packs for Zero Chill were really, really good. The rerolls, like the actual training rerolls for non-presence, were bad, but coin packs were really good. The presents were like the best we've maybe ever seen. There was also the first glitch, which I didn't get to participate in, but other people did. It's going in A tier. Although, it's a weird A tier, because you could argue it's S tier, because it was probably the most fun time at any point throughout Madden. But from overall promo perspective, actually, you know what? I'm putting an S tier. What am I talking about? It had the best field pass all year. I'm tripping. I'm actually going to put it in front. I completely forgot about the field pass. That's what made this promo also really, really good. You have a field pass where if you wanted to go on a farm account, grind out like 5 to 6 hours of objectives, you could get like 1 to 2 million coins from presents. Best field pass, best seasonal field pass we might have ever seen, we might ever see in a MMO. We also got a champion at the end of the field pass, so I completely forgot about that. S tier, great presence, great field pass, mediocre heroes in my opinion, but in champions, but it is what it is. Next up, Campus Hero 2. Now, Campus Hero 2 is weird, because I wasn't a big fan of the champions, like the names like Verrett, Byers, the Denard Robinson wasn't that good. Thomas Davis was like a weird safety, but it's going in high B tier, and the reason B, the coin packs and the rerolls were actually like a loophole. They were a glitch for like a week or two, and it was about the only promo this entire year where the training rerolls were actually returning a profit, and the coin packs, until they patched them, were the huge W. So they're going in B tier strictly from the like coin, like the fun aspect of them. They're going in B tier. Next up, we've got AKA New Class. This is going to be controversial because gameplay effects of this promo, in my opinion, are like F tier. The AKA X Factor running backs like put this game on a downward trend for the second half of the year. You play now AKA X Factor running backs every single game, and it's the most annoying thing possible. To play defense is already hard enough in this game, and then having to sell out and stop the run is like, yay, it's so fun. I love having my like 250-pound D lineman just get put on their ass because they've got a glowing Pokemon ability. But card art's again S tier. The coin packs for these promo was S tier. The player names were awesome. I love whenever current players get a bunch of high-rated cards throughout the middle of the year. I love that because it's normally filled with Legend. Like the Legend theme team was taking over, and then the AKA New Class combined with like Team of the Year at some point at that time period just made it to where Legend theme team wasn't viable anymore. So I am gonna put AKA New Class in A tier. It hurts me because like the Quad Father is, you know, it's the Quad Father, right? But we got a lot of really cool cards from it. I personally didn't use the cards as much because I wasn't playing MUT like at the time, like gameplay wise, but the coin packs were like the best coin packs to like convert to training up until they took them out of the game, and everyone was upset when they took them out of the game. AKA New Class, we might hate it, but man, it was just such a good promo on a weekly basis. The cards were amazing. The LTDs like Derrick Henry, Kyle Pitts, like just awesome cards. Next up, we have got the playoff promo. Now, playoff promo in Madden 22 was god-awful. It was F tier. The playoff promo this year, not too bad. We got a lot of 96 overall heroes. I mean, the champions. The heroes weren't... You know what? I'm actually going to move Team Infinity down. Now that I'm noticing. I'm moving Team Infinity down once here. I'm going to throw the playoff in the C tier. I think it was just another... The C tier is like the forgettable to me. Like, nothing was too special about this. None of the cards were S tier when they came out. Like, iJoebruin got a card, but wasn't, like, didn't have good speed. Like, they had Pacheco. I personally loved him, but he wasn't, like, the fan favorite or the meta at running back. Steve Young came out, but wasn't a meta QB. Just a lot of high-rated cards. They just weren't the best at their position. The rerolls were awful. The coin packs were awful. The only thing good out of the playoffs was, like, the predictors were really fun, but that's about it. Again, but way better than Madden 22, but I wish they went back to the route of, like, every playoff team gets, like, 2 champions or whatever, and then there's LTDs. The LTDs in this promo were good. McAllister, Kurt Warner, was cool. Like, those weren't bad, but a lot of cards, like, but just none of them were game changers, in my opinion. Next up, Weekly Wildcard. This is a weird one, because, like, some of the cards, like, were really, like, I don't know. This was, like, a lot like the playoff promo. Like, the cards would come out, but, like, none of the LTDs were amazing. None of the champions. Like, Patrick Peterson is the most memorable for me because he got, I think it was 1 step ahead for 1 AP. But, like, none of the, like, I never found myself each week going out and being like, I need to have the Weekly Wildcard champions. They also had the case, they were built a lot like the Team of the Week promo, where they were just expensive, they were overpriced. But since there weren't, like, legends, it was only current players. And the current players they brought out, like, were weird. Like, they weren't even, like, some of the cards were cool, like, Drake London got a card, Tariq Woolen got a card, but it was a lot, like, a younger players, but, I don't know, it was a weird promo, really good for theme teams, but it just wasn't, like, a favorite of mine. I'm putting it in high C tier. It was just, I don't know, I miss flashbacks, mainly anything. I miss flashbacks. Coin packs weren't that good, they didn't also have rerolls, that was a big thing. I'm putting it in C tier. But it wasn't, like, by any means. I think it would be a level above these 3, but it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, in my opinion. Next up, Super Bowl promo. Now, this one, I'm going to be throwing in A tier. A lot of things came out of the Super Bowl promo that we're still seeing today. It was the first promo with a strategy card that gave a speed boost plus a boost to all cards. Now, that could be a good or bad thing, but at the time, it was like, you know, game-changing. The champions and the LTDs of this promo, while they were expensive, were amazing. It was the first 97 overall cards in the game. We got cards like Julian Edelman, which even though normally isn't good in MUT, was a really, really good card. Even like Jerome Bettis, Jalen Mills was really good. Both parts were just awesome. I remember what Jalen Watson came out was really good. Overall, I thought it was just a better version of the play. Maybe the playoff wasn't as memorable because it was the last 96s we got, whereas the Super Bowl was the first 97s. I had a blast. The coin packs also weren't terrible. The rerolls were still bad, but the coin packs weren't terrible. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Super Bowl promo. Maybe it's because the Chiefs in it and won it, but the champions, in my opinion, were really, really good. Honors. Now, do we just throw honors in F tier because the cards were super expensive and like they were ruined from? I'm gonna throw it in F tier, I guess. I pulled Sauce Gardner. Like, they weren't bad cards at the time. It was just that the cards kind of got ruined by Team of the Year. I guess we'll throw it in D tier. It doesn't belong. Legend promo is awful. It was fun. The cards came out at the time. I made some coins on investing in them in the short term, but honors, it kind of got ruined by Team of the Year. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Ultimate Legend. Ultimate Legend, definitely an upgrade from the Legend promo. I love the solo challenges that you're able to get the free ones through the tokens, or you choose the coin packs. I think just go smack dab in the, I want to throw it low A tier. But the problem is they've kind of, the cards just now, like for the second half of the Ultimate Legend promo, the cards have just been outclassed by other cards because they aren't getting 2-0 AP abilities, and they've been on that like 1 AP ability for the longest. Like, the first batch of Ultimate Legends were amazing. Like, Haloti Ngata was in my team forever. Harold Carmichael is still used by pretty much every single pro player, still playing important games nowadays. But as the promo went along, it just, like, the cards weren't good. Like, great names, right? We got Antonio Cromartie, even new players like Donovan McNabb, but the cards a lot of times were ruined by abilities and buckets. Like, Drew Brees was awesome, but he had a terrible ability bucket. So it's in high B tier. I would almost put it to A tier, but it's just like, I don't even care about the Ultimate Legend drops anymore on Saturday, because I know unless it's like a player that like Jamal Charles, amazing name. I've been waiting for Jamal Charles forever, but like, he came out and like wasn't anything special because of the AKA new class promo. So Ultimate Legends, I prefer Ultimate Legend this year to last year, but I think just from everything surrounding Ultimate Legends with how content's been released, it's just like, I haven't really paid attention that much to Ultimate Legends for probably the past month or two. The first, like, the 97 overall era was awesome, but 98s and 99s, I don't really care about. This is going to be Combine. Combine had some not so good rerolls, not so good packs, but the boost that we got from the players were really, really good, like, after the Combine results. I personally enjoyed a lot of the champion choices, players like Julio Jones, but again, this is just another, like, it was your carbon copy. Now, the 95, actually, I'm going to put it in high B tier. The reason B, the 95 overall draft players, it was the first time ever we had, like, rookies before they got drafted into the game. They got all 32 team camps and were budget options for a lot of players for a long time. I know that Joey Porter Jr. was used by a lot of people because he was just really fast, really tall, and had all 32 team camps. So, from that perspective, it was more of a budget promo. And from that, it was really, really good. The champions were, you know, like, hit or miss. There were some linemen. Leon Sandcastle was cool that they brought him back, but like his cards were like they were weird. I enjoyed his tight end card. Like, some people enjoyed his running back. I didn't like his quarterback. I didn't like his safety, but I enjoyed his tight end and running back. It was a very weird Combine promo. I think it was one, or I think it was two parts. Chris Johnson, though, got out in the game. RG3, but that card was like super expensive. Wasn't that good. But it was a solid Combine promo. Now we got Team of the Year. Team of the Year, I don't know where to throw this at. Because they were the first 98. I hate what Team of the Year did to the game, because they had like the 0 AP and like everything was 1 AP. So like, they still like can be used now for offensive linemen. I want to throw it in. I'm gonna throw it in A tier. It's A tier. It's hard to have like a bad promo where every single position is getting a 98 overall card. Plus, we got honorable mentions, which got a lot of players upgrades, but it was just not as hype because half the cards had gotten upgrades like in the past month, like cards like AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Jamar. Like it just got ruined in my opinion. Not Jamar Chase, but it just got ruined by previous content. Like that's the only bad thing about Team of the Year, but it wasn't bad because every single player got a 98 overall. You got your solo challenges. You got a B&D one from. Solid Team of the Year. Team of the Year, you can't really go bad with. Next up, we've got Ring of Honor, S tier. Just straight up, it was new legends, great legends, and the 99 overall cards that were in this promo being Barry Sanders, Tony Gonzalez, Deion Sanders, Lawrence Taylor, and Randy Moss are still 5 of the best players at their... Deion Sanders is still a top 3 corner. Randy Moss still a top 3 wide receiver. Barry Sanders is probably the best non-AKA running back in the game. Tony Gonzalez is still probably a top 2 or 3 tight end. And Lawrence Taylor is still the best pass rusher in the game. You also had the 98 overall cards, which you could get as B&Ds. The rerolls were not terrible. Coin packs were meh. And then you also had 96 overall cards that, like, the sets also required only 3 96s, which made the 98s more affordable from a set perspective. It made the 96s valuable, the 94 valuable, 94s valuable. It's an S tier promo. I am going to be looking forward to it for the years to come because it seems like it's going to be a yearly thing where we get a new batch of 5 players. If you want to get my predictions for Madden 24, we're probably going to see like Michael Vick, Bo Jackson, maybe Calvin Johnson, players like that. Overall, Ring of Honor promo came out really, really early, the first 99s. S tier. Peak Madden 23. Now we got Game Changers, and this one is going to go in high A tier. Again, the players, when they came out, were like the first players, other than the Ring of Honor players, to get 2 0 AP abilities, but you needed ability tokens, and you had to get 2 of them through a long-lasting house rules. It was, like, I don't know. In my opinion, Game Changers, I have, like, a bad taste in my mouth because it ruined 98 and 99 cards going forward because, like, it just, every card that came out, like, if they didn't have 2 0 AP abilities, you're like, well, I'm just going to use a Game Changer player. So from that perspective, Game Changer had some of the most impactful players released at any point. And again, this was Game Changer. Ring of Honor was back-to-back. Like, we had back-to-back haymakers. There's also, I think it was a 3 or 4 part promo that dropped on like Thursday, Tuesday. Really, really odd, but it was like a multi-week drop. I enjoyed it. The rerolls are always as super bad. The packs, I don't remember them being super good. But the players were just S tier. Like, CeeDee Lamb is still in my lineup. Derek Brown is still in my lineup. Comp players still use Kendall Fuller and Kevin Byard. Ryan Neal was my favorite user for like 2 months at the time. It's a high A tier promo. It doesn't belong in S tier, but high A tier for me. Next up, we got Free Agent. Now, Free Agent actually had some good coin packs. Rerolls were okay. To me, now this might be unpopular. I'm going in high C tier. Now, it's hard for free agency content to be bad because all the champions get all the team chems, but none of the players were S tier. Especially after coming off of Game Changer content and Ring of Honor content, these cards were just Team of the Year players that got every single team chem. Like, that's all they were. Like, Lamar Jackson wasn't a top 3 quarterback. The Tony Pollard was decent, but like Odell Beckham Jr. was good, but he was short. Like, the best card that came out at that promo, in my opinion, was like Jesse Bates was pretty solid. But to me, it was C tier. There was nothing too special about it. I think I preferred Madden 22 because of the reroll in it, as well as like the champions in that year were a lot better. Yeah, it was just whatever. Sugar Rush. I think we all know where this one's going. It's going in F tier for the worst promo this year, surpassing the Legend promo, and simply because of the expectations. Sugar Rush, you notice the 2 biggest programs we have every single year are Sugar Rush and Zero Chill, and you notice how they're at polar opposites, and the reason be, Sugar Rush was the anti-Zero Chill. First off, the champions were very forgettable. Again, they were simply just players that we had, like, it was just reskins of Team of the Year cards. They were worse Game Changer cards, worse Ring of Honor cards, and you could say worse Free Agent cards because they did not get all team chems. Like, they weren't even that, like, amazing of cards. We did get the Sugar Rush strat item, which gave +2 speed to all players, which kind of ruined the endgame MUT too. And then we have the eggs. Again, just like Zero Chill, the reason Zero Chill is in S tier, 1, they had a great field pass, and the presents were really fun. The eggs were miserable. The reroll they brought out, and now I participated in the egg glitch, but that also kind of ruined a little bit of the fun of opening the eggs. If you wanted small, medium, and large eggs, which are actually good eggs, you had to do sets that were way overpriced. Overall, I don't know who gave the green light to, like, not bring out a random egg reroll. And also, we didn't even get a reroll until 3 days before Easter. So you had people like wasting coins. It was just a weird promo. Normally Easter is like 2 weeks of a lot of fun. It was 3 days of fun, in my opinion. We did get the 4 players, but also they were leaked. Like Brandon Marshall was really, really good. Waller was really, really good, but the LTDs weren't amazing. The champions weren't amazing. The eggs were terrible. Like the actual eggs openings were fun, but the price point of the eggs you had to pay were terrible. It belongs in F tier, and anybody arguing that, I don't know if you've ever played a Madden Ultimate Team before Madden 23. It was awful. It was awful. It left a very, very bad taste in my mouth and a very kind of stain on Madden 23 as a whole. It just felt like, also, Sugar Rush was when I think the trade block got gated, as like just a lot of bad things happened during Sugar Rush. A lot of bad things happened. Next up, and now we are missing a Theme Team Remix, which we are going to go over, but now we have golden tickets, and I'm going to do it. Golden tickets belong in F tier. The cards themselves, now, we're only halfway through golden tickets, and we'll have to see, you know, fan appreciation that helps out the golden tickets, but these cards just simply aren't good. Like, for golden tickets, which are supposed to be the best cards in the game, they aren't S tier cards. They're good. They aren't great. Like Julius Pepper, 6'7" user, but he's got Acrobat and Pick Artist, and if you know anything about MUT, Acrobat and Pick Artist really aren't the best thing to user nowadays. You would rather have mid-zone KO, even a deep route KO on your user if you want to crossband some players. I would have loved to see. Now, I don't blame the creators for golden tickets. I don't blame the creators by any means. I don't blame the creators. However, combined with the AP limit going from 12 to 6 and the cards only having 2 0 AP abilities with the golden ticket ability tokens, I don't know who, again, another decision, why are we rationing golden ticket ability tokens in June? It makes no sense. We should be getting 1 ability token minimum per week. The reroll, by the way, if you want to pull them in packs, they are super, super rare. You're going to have to spend 20 million coins minimum just to see the animation, and the card's probably going to be going for 500k. The worst golden ticket promo ever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anybody that's, like, happy about the golden ticket promo unless you've, like, just gone out and pulled, you know, 5 Lamar Jacksons in a row and made bank off it. It sucked. It has sucked, and I blame EA for it. I don't really blame the creators. I actually like the player choices, like LaShawn McCoy's cool, but then they made it like Backfield Master, Backfield Mismatch. Ruin the card. You see what I mean? It's a really base game. That's going to happen. And then we have Theme Team Remix, which we don't have a logo of, but we're going to talk about for a little bit. Theme Team Remix, in my opinion, could have been S tier. This could have been the best pro this year. The problem is they were too conservative with the abilities. We are in June. If they would have given the last 2 releases, or even the third release, right? We were getting, again, every team getting a 99 overall card. The LTDs were terrible. The LTDs were terrible. The rerolls are terrible. That about that, I don't like it. But again, it's pretty much team diamonds, but we're getting them every single week, and the cards are affordable. Like, it doesn't cost a lot to get the 99 overall cards. The names are really good. Plaxico Burress, Eric Dickerson. The cards just aren't better than what we've already had. It's just, like, there's a lot left on the table for me. This could have been the best promo this year if all these cards got 2 0 AP abilities. If the X Factor just maybe, like, 0 AP just, like, started on. It just hurts. Like, I have a team, and, like, I'm Auction House banned right now. So Theme Team Remix players are actually one of the players where I could easily pick up for my team. And I've added 3. I've added Donald Parham, Plaxico Burress, and Eric Dickerson. Like, that's it. The quarterbacks, of course, aren't going to get the 2 AP God stack. And the other players just, like, you can swap them out, but, like, your team really isn't improving. Like, these cards are pretty much the same as Team of the Year players we got 2 months prior. They're just a little bit faster, but we have strat items. They're just, the cards aren't S tier. That's all I'm saying. This promo could have been S tier. I'm going to put it in middle A tier because, again, you can't go wrong with 35.99s every single week for 3 weeks. That part you can't go wrong with, but I think I'm just disappointed because it could have been the best promo this year. Instead, more so around the A tier. Not bad, great, but could have been the best promo this year. And I think that's going to do it. Now, we still have fan appreciation. We still have rookie premiere. I won't give an updated video because it's only two more promos. We might get a promo next week, but that's all for this video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. A long one. Give your guys' thoughts below on the year of Madden 23 promos this year. very, very shallow, in my opinion. Also, the remix I forgot to mention, good field pass, right? House reward, Lester Hayes, but the problem is, you got to play like 50 hours to get him. That sucks. Demaryius Thomas, I'm not even going to get because it's going to expire before the new season. But again, comment your thoughts and opinions on the promos this year. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, and until next week, peace.